Die gracefully. You can help someone prepare for their death in a very nice way. When my wife and I shared everything together, we prepared for our death with the usual way, with a will, an advance directive, and a place to put the body, and all the conventional things, but we never talked about our death. Then we found out that we were told that my wife was going to die pretty soon. I decided right then and there that the one thing I would not talk to her about is her death, because I didn't want to make it uncomfortable for her. It was only much later that I realized that I wasn't just shielding her, but I was shielding myself from an unpleasant subject also, one I wasn't prepared for. That decision was a very serious mistake. It had many bad consequences. I thought I was being helpful, but look at all the problems that it caused. One, she lost the only local confidant she could share her pain and anguish and fears and worries with. I was the only personal confidant she had in this area because she was from all over the world. She did talk to her minister. I took her there several times. But there are things you just don't talk about with the minister. You talk about with a friend. And she didn't have anybody. But it was much worse than that. Not only did I deprive her of a confidant, but I didn't find out what to do with all her stuff. I didn't know what kind of a funeral she wanted, who she wanted to notify. Her family was all over the world. Who do we talk to? Who do we send notices to? But worst of all, and by far the worst loss of that decision, is that we never said goodbye to each other. We never shared the love and meaning that our life had meant to us together. It wasn't there. Well, eventually she died, and I began to realize what a serious mistake we had made. And I decided that I could use our mistakes to help other people do better. I decided to study carefully how to say goodbye to a loved one and teach it to as many people as I could. I discovered that there were three things to do to make it easy for a person to die gracefully. The first thing I more or less just started talking about, we should start talking about our death from the very beginning. We should start right away. We shouldn't let that subject go until we're depressed or ill and made it hard. We should do it when it's easier. So the very first thing we should learn to do is to talk. Of course, the benefits of that would include the things we didn't say, like saying goodbye, like what kind of funeral to get, what to do with things. So this was the most important lesson. But the second suggestion that came up was this. We should select and train a cleanup agent. We should pick someone or some institution that we trust to take all of our wishes very carefully, and after the death, to clean the mess up, and knew how to do it. You see, if you try and move, there were many people who wrote letters to me and talked about what a mess it was after someone died. There was chaos and emotion, and they just didn't know what to do, and they didn't do the right things. But the help from the person before they died could change that. So what they really need is what I call a proprietary package, which unfortunately for this talk, has 3 parts also. The first part consists of the things you do ahead of time, the preliminaries, the will, the advance directive, the training of the selecting and training of the cleanup agent, giving the cleanup agent access to accounts, to emails, all this information that nobody has if you don't prepare it. The preliminary arrangements include how to take care of the children, who to notify. It's a whole lot of things that has to be done with the help of the deceased person, of course, before they're deceased. The second part of this package consists of the things that are hidden. Where is the jewelry? Where is the money? Where are the keys? Which keys go where? I see a smile. Because if you've ever been through this together, you know it isn't obvious how to handle this problem. But even more than that, all your possessions. If the possessions go to the right person, it can add an awful lot to their life. But the usual cleanup person doesn't know unless they've been informed ahead of time. If you give this to this person, it will add to their life or make things better. So all of this preliminary information just should be available. But the third topic, the one I want to talk about the most, is how to die gracefully. We talk a lot about how to live. All these Toastmaster talks are full of ideas on what to do when you're alive. But we very seldom talk about what to do as you're dying. What is a good death? What's the best way to die? It's a subject that's hard to get information about. Because there's a remarkable letter that was written by Oliver Sacks 3 months before he died of cancer, and he knew he was dying. He said that he was sad to leave life. It had been a lot of fun. But he was more grateful from having lived and having had all of the wonderful experiences he had as a sentient being, as a thoughtful, helpful person, enjoying the beauty of the planet and enjoying the adventure of living. William Falk added a little bit more to that to help me. He said, we all do enjoy our life, but we're really visitors temporarily in this experience. We're born we were born, something happens we don't know, and we live through it for a while as a visitor and enjoy it, and then we die, and we don't know what's going to happen there either. But this is this miraculous moment which we can enjoy sharing, where we can give and connect and experience. So, and give back to people who we want to help, like I'm doing now, I hope. So, what he said is, he would like to have a graceful death, just like Oliver Sacks got. Well, now let's talk about us. So what? What's the whole point? We should start preparing for our graceful death too. We should start our legacy package. Select and train a cleanup agent, either a person who presumably will outlive us, or an institution. And we should look for the inspiration we can find at the places that I've mentioned or others. Let's prepare for our own graceful, dignified death.
The topic is, what type are you? You failed job interview, someone dinged your car, you got ticketed, you called your friend and your friend brushed you aside. what would you do? What would you think? In one case, I would think, I'm a failure. I'm an idiot. My life is pitiful. God doesn't like me. Life is unfair. I'm an unlucky person. How would I cope with it? I'll take no risk so that I don't fail. I would do nothing because it won't do any good to me. This is situation number one. Situation number two, I need to prepare better for my interview. I'll drive carefully and I'll park in a safer place. And I'll call my friend to ask if my friend was busy when I called. Now, same situation, but two reactions. As I said, situation one and situation two. I mean, reaction one and reaction two. And there are subsequently two different outcomes from the same situation. What type are you? How would you react to that situation? Reaction number one or reaction number two? Now, which way you think is a better way to react to that difficult day? World-renowned Stanford University psychologist Carol Dweck did decades of research and found that there are two kinds of people as far as mindset is concerned: fixed mindset and growth mindset. So fixed mindset people think that intelligence, everybody got a limited amount of intelligence, and that's it. You can increase or you can decrease. And they also think that you can learn new things, but you can't actually become more intelligent. On the other hand, the growth mindset people think that not only you can learn new things, you can also increase the level of intelligence. And you can always change basic things about the kind of person you are. Albert Binet designed IQ system in 19th century. He designed the IQ system to figure out why children were not benefiting from Paris public school system. And that gave the government tools to make the education system better in Paris during that time. But nowadays IQ is not used in that regard. IQ is used to measure someone's intelligence, and it's considered to be fixed. But that's not how Albert Binet envisioned IQ was. Benjamin Barber, an eminent socialist, once said, I don't divide the world into successful and failures, or strong and weak. I divide the world into learners and non-learners. That got me thinking, why would somebody not learn or would become not willing to learn new things? What would happen? What would trigger that person to close all the doors to learn new things? As soon as children become able to evaluate themselves, some of the children stop taking challenges, stop taking risks. A research was done with 4-year-old children, and they were given jigsaw puzzles, and they were given the choice to pick easy ones or difficult ones. The fixed mindset children picked the easy ones, and the growth mindset children picked the difficult ones. And after they did their puzzles, they were given another chance. Either they can redo what they just did, or they can pick new ones. The fixed mindset mindset children pick the same ones they picked before. And the growth mindset children pick the difficult ones, the new difficult ones. So why did they do that? And they found out that the children picked the easy ones because they didn't want to fail. They didn't want to be labeled as not smart. On the other hand, the growth mindset children, picked the new ones because they were just having fun. They want to try new things. They didn't care about failure. Their thought process was, let's do something new. Let's learn something new. And that made them children of growth mindset. Going back to IQ, there was a brain wave test done to figure out how growth mindset and fixed mindset people would react to different questions. And they had this lab, and they set up the sensors, and then they were firing questions. And they found out that the fixed mindset people, when they were asked questions about their capability, they paid more attention to those questions. But they didn't pay any attention to the questions or the comments which would enhance their knowledge. Also, they were paying more attention when they were told that you answered right or wrong. But when they were told how you can better yourself, they didn't care. They also didn't ask them what was the right questions for the questions which they answered wrong. So in other words, they were more concerned about what people think about themselves. They were more concerned about, am I failing? Rather than learning new things. Gilbert Gottlieb, a noted neuroscientist, put it, not only do genes and environment cooperate as we develop, but genes require input from environment to work properly. Scientists are learning that people have more capacity for learning and brain development than they ever thought. So what type are you? Or a better question is, what type you actually want to be? Thank you so much.
Thank you, Diganta. We'll now take 1 minute.